Ford Motor Company is going to invest $900 million.
Oh, thank God, finally. You know, these are the guys who said offshore havens were absolutely necessary. They're among the people. But if you let them bring the money back into the country, for example, in tax holidays, etc., if you give them tax cuts, you give them certainty, they will create jobs here. A $900 million plant here has got to create a lot of jobs. So which state are they putting it in?
It's going to be in India.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah.
But that's weird because they're an American company. So you would think that, of course, they would create jobs if we just did their bidding and all of our politicians sucked up to them and gave them exactly what they wanted. That's weird.
This is a perfect example of how corporate tax loopholes, tax cuts for the wealthy, tax cuts for corporations, how they don't work in creating jobs for the United States. They're looking for cheap labor. They're going to India. They're going to employ 5,000 people there because 5,000 people in the United States don't need jobs, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so, but real quick, here's their reasoning and their so-called logic behind it. They're saying that India's economy is growing rapidly, and they want to find a way to have Indians purchase Ford vehicles in a cheaper way so they don't have to export vehicles.
Right.
Okay, they're losing too much money when they export vehicles to other countries.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. If you have $900 million to invest in a company outside of the United States, you can handle it. You can handle the extra cost of exporting cars to another country.
No, I actually disagree, and some of our progressive audience might disagree with me. I get why they're doing it, and I actually don't think Ford's a bad company, right? They avoided bankruptcy when GM and Chrysler did. They've got some smart management in that regard. Some of their new cars are green, et cetera, et cetera. I have no problems with Ford, and I get they want to sell cars in India. It's cheaper to do it in India, okay? And I like that Indians are getting hired. I'm a humanist, okay? And I want them to have jobs as much as we have jobs, right? Okay, that's not the issue. The issue to me is, didn't you come and ask for a tax break and claiming you're going to create American jobs? Well, that's nonsense. So you go ahead, create the jobs in India if you want. I ain't get it. But one, don't call yourself an American company. You're a multinational corporation. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. And then don't come begging to me for tax breaks and subsidies, pretending you're going to create jobs here when we full well know you're lying, okay? And it's not just Ford, it's all these companies. So enough of their tax havens and their subsidies and pretending that they're doing it for our good. They're not doing it for our good. Of course, they're a corporation. They are legally bound to do it for their good, to maximize as much profit as possible. That is in the definition of a corporation, right? So if you think the corporations are the good guys, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Doesn't mean they're the bad guys. They're just amoral. They don't have morals. They're a machine. And if you keep trying to please the machine, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, look, the fact that they're taking the tax breaks is the problem. I mean, as a private business, you have the ability to do whatever you want. If you want to build that factory in India or China or wherever you want to build it, then you have the right to do that. But you shouldn't do it while hurting the United States economy by not paying your fair share of taxes. That's the way I see it, right?
Absolutely.
And this, like I said, this is a perfect example of how giving them tax cuts does not create jobs in the United States. I had an argument about this with one Republican friend that I have. And he was like, or he says he's libertarian. He's like, oh, no, but we have to give them the tax cuts.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course
They're the ones who create the jobs in the United States. And then I tell him, no, and I gave him the Ford example. I'm like, they're going to spend $900 million in India, not the United States. And he's like, well, it's a private company. They can do whatever they want.
Okay, then don't take my goddamn tax break, okay? That we're having to pay extra taxes to make up for. And by the way, you know who creates jobs in the United States? The Young Turks. In the last year, we've gone from 5 employees to 12 employees.
Woo!
Where the hell's my tax break? Right? I actually create tax. Well, then, okay, under the Republican definition, I should pay no taxes. I'm a job creator, okay? Step aside, I'm a job creator. I don't want to pay any more taxes. Let's look into that, okay? Oh, right, we didn't buy any politicians. I forgot about that. So somehow we don't get the tax breaks. Funny how that works.